Well, today we're going to talk about some more exciting things, as this is, what did we decide, week 30-ish, 32? Yeah,
I think, yeah.
week 32-ish of our current run of Ops Experts calls. It's pretty exciting stuff. Um, this week, I'm going to talk about an up-leveled dashboard reporting style. And I'm going to go over I like to call it my proprietary process I created for reporting. I started out a few years ago with Pete Vargas's team, trying to solve the issue of just getting data from different places, reporting it in a way that makes sense to multiple people, and in a way that's visually pleasing, updates live and everything. So I was able to come up with this method utilizing Google Sheets, utilizing Zapier to build a database inside of a Google Sheet that's pulling in information from different apps using Zaps, and then running formulas based on that to give him a one-stop place to look and get all the information he needs to how his event, his challenge, whatever they're doing is running. So it's made more for things with like a narrow time frame. It's not forever. It's like live challenges are great for this. Events, things that have a specific time frame, and you're going to be pumping a lot of money and ads into it, and you really need to know, like, how are we doing overall, not just like the ad reporting you get, but how's everything looking about this push. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in here. Clockify hours capacity project. Is that for you, Savannah?
Yeah, we're working on like how we have our bandwidth tracker for Collab. We need to get Clockify into a Google Sheet so that we can see what's going on.
Oh,
And then
that's
and
good.
hopefully into Monday.
Ooh, I love Monday. It's been so fun. All right, everybody, here's my dashboard template I have set up for you all. This has had many different iterations to get to this point. And the way it works here, we just have this one sheet overview page where you can just log in here. You can see exactly how things are working. I'll use a challenge, for instance. With a challenge, you have different lead sources. I was messing with this, so I will put this back. You might have different lead sources you want to track. Maybe you've got organic traffic, just the root domain of your landing path. Maybe you've got email, so people currently on your email list, you're sending them to one place. Maybe you've got Facebook ads, you've got YouTube ads, you've got Google ads. You want to report on those sources separately. And then those will all populate here. You've got across the top, you've got opt-in page views, how many people are viewing your page, how many people joined. Jamie has seen this sheet. Jamie, today we're talking about dashboard reporting for events and challenges. So we just did one for the Crush It with Challenges team. They had a sheet very similar to this that was helping them get all their information up to date. We've got, it'll give you your conversions. And then we've got products and then product conversions, because usually you might have like a VIP. So you want to know how many converted to that. There might be an OTO for that VIP, how many people converted for that. And then you've got follow-up buyers. Maybe you have a main product and then a downsell and then a ticket to an event. So you can have lots of different products. And this reporting dashboard right here, all this blue is things that are going to update live. And it's going to pull in everything you need. And based on all these formulas here, it's going to calculate the correct information. And the way we're doing that is through Zapier. So let's take our opt-ins, for instance. We write some zaps. We've got go ahead and put some in here. So we do have some zaps running based on opt-ins, you know, where did they opt in? Which tag did they receive based on which landing page they landed on. And then that's going to push them to the dashboard, and it's just going to give them a name, an email, what opt-in type they were. And this is important to line up with the info tab. So if we fill out our info tab, it's actually going to fill in everywhere. So this lead source number 1 turns into organic. This turns into organic. You know, this turns into organic. Everywhere it turns into organic. Buyer's product. This turns into organic. So it's an easy way to just change it once, and then all the formulas and everything calculate correctly. And then it's going to give us a date and time, because I did have a request for hourly stats, which is a big sheet. So it's every day, every hour. They were getting really nerdy with the one person I made this for. They were like, okay, which hours are most popular for our ads and our traffic? I'm getting leads. And I was like, okay, well, we have the data. All I need to do is put in the formulas. So we're able to get that to them. And now that I've done it once, you can do it again, because it's just templatized and based on these. So we can actually get hourly statistics on different things. So it's going to fill in a person right here. Let's say somebody else opts in and it's Facebook. You know, this is actually letting me know that it's a duplicate based on another conditional formatting in here. So it just counts if this is located in here more than once. It lets you know if there's duplicates, which is pretty good for buyers. Sometimes buyers end up buying the same thing and you want to refund them before. Oh no, there's an issue with Slido.
Yeah, I mean, it's not an I mean, it's okay. We're a small group, so I feel like we could probably just answer or ask our questions in the chat. But yeah, Slido, the date is set wrong, so it still has all of our previous questions in there. So it didn't make sense to share it for today.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Yeah, we'll see about making this available for people. It is pretty robust. It's a pretty big build out. But we've got here, yeah, this would fill in with zaps, fill in the opt-in type. And so this would actually be running live. And so you would see, if I change this to Facebook, is it going to match? It does. So now I have a new Facebook opt-in, and it's also telling me I have buyers from it. So we'll see about that. Oh, I do, because it found this name here, this email under the opt-in tab under organic and Facebook. So it's listing on both. So it is actually showing. So this would be an incorrect. And this is why we have variance. Variance is the situation where people are opting in to different paths under the same email. It happens all the time. We get huge amounts of variance of somebody joining through one thing and then forgetting they've already joined, and they click a Facebook ad and they're joining again, and then they click an email and they're joining again. Or people purchasing under emails they didn't sign up with. That's the other variance. So you can't actually track that back to the original source. But here, yeah, we have the opt-ins, and then, you know, the other main thing that runs it is the buyer. So then we have different zaps set up whenever they buy a certain product. Then they're going to get listed into a certain sheet, page, tab of this. And then that zap also has formulas in it, so that every time it comes through, it's going to run the correct formula to find them on the correct sheet. So this one has a lot of paths. I like using the new paths function of Zapier. You guys like that one? Seen it? I wish you could duplicate a path though, instead of starting fresh. So over here, I actually do input the formula into the column. So that it's already in there. It's already going to find using a VLOOKUP formula whether this email exists in opt-in. And if it does, it's going to pull in the column of opt-in type. You know, and this is, I mean, this is a similar formula. I've upgraded from this one to try to help deduping. So this could probably be updated instead of having 5 different things here. It's just going to have one, and then it's going to list what the source it was that it found. To try to keep it from finding 2 different sources, it's just going to pull the first one it finds. But then you have this listed for all your buyers, all your products. And then if you're the head honcho here, you know, okay, like we did this for the Crush It people, and they realized after a little bit they were getting 0 buyers from Google ads, for instance. None of the Google people were purchasing VIP. So like, we're turning that off. I mean, all the other people are Facebook, organic, affiliates. Why are we going to waste money with Google if they're not purchasing the first product, which could be VIP? That's our VIP upsell. And so yeah, VIP buyers here. Or maybe you've realized that your Facebook is just outperforming your YouTube on conversions into VIP. And you know that the more people you get into VIP, the more people you get into your main offer downsell. And so you're like, all right, let's pump less money into YouTube, more money into Facebook, because they're getting more VIP conversions out of that. So this is a way to track everything all at once, because your Facebook people, they might be giving you reports. They might be giving you reports that are very inflated because they're Facebook people and they want to look really good. And your YouTube people giving you reports. This is one way to actually take the data from all those people giving you reports and kind of making your own data out of it and your own assumptions, and get to determine your own outcomes.
Especially because we've noticed with more than one client recently that Facebook metrics that they give you they don't reflect what's real. Like they're trying to make themselves look real good for you spending money on them.
Yeah. When they end up relying on pixel tracking, you end up getting, oh, sorry, I like seeing the chat. Which tab would CS like?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna say the one that tracks like duplicates and stuff, so that way if someone accidentally buys twice, then we can just like get them refunded. Yep. And
yeah, that was the point of it, was you get a lot of duplicates with the small ticket VIPs and stuff. Yeah, so with their pixel tracking, you do end up getting a lot of errors. You might end up using the same thank you page on accident. Every landing on a thank you page ends up being tracked as a landing in Facebook, and they think they're getting more opt-ins than they actually are. So it can go both ways. It could be an error on both sides, which is very unfortunate. It's very easy, especially if they don't have access to your account, you don't have access to their account, vice versa. They're like, we don't know what's going on in your stuff. We don't have access to your pages. So this is one way to actually, you create a different page for a different source, and you hand out different links for each page. And now you have your own verified tracking, whether their tracking breaks or not, of, we know 50 people hit this organic opt-in page. And we know based on our own tracking from that opt-in page, 25 joined. Doesn't matter what you tell us, we can see that right here, 50 unique page views, 25 opt-ins. And then you do that for every single source. You have a Facebook page and you give just that link out to your Facebook people. And you have a YouTube page and you give just that link out to your YouTube people. It's a really great way to be able to double check. I love just telling people, you know, just create your opt-in page and duplicate it as many times as you want. Once it's done, it's a great way to be able to track sources. And then the next year when you come around to doing the same thing, you're like, how many people did we get from affiliates? Did we get from Facebook? Then you can actually have your answers instead of trying to guess with best estimates. Control F that puppy. Yeah. Yep. So like I said, this blue, I like to put in this updates live. So these zaps, you'll see this page refresh every few minutes and just start climbing, real high. Some of these zaps, when you have Google Sheet ones and you've got a lot of data go into it, they'll update every 5 minutes or so. So you'll get like 5-minute increments on your timestamps, you'll notice. But they're pretty reliable. I've held them up against the actual source of the numbers and been able to find that they actually didn't miss anything. I did have one zap break. One of these reports break because their event was too successful and they were getting so much data into the spreadsheet and there were so many people viewing the spreadsheet that the spreadsheet shut down on too many, it was like too many call errors.
Oops.
And this was when I think it was Pedro Deo and Pete Vargas won Dean Tony's launch a couple years ago when they combined efforts and they did their challenge, and their challenge was really successful together. Yeah, the sheet just shut down and I had to kick everybody out of it. I had to turn off zaps for a little bit. They were getting just so many opt-ins, it broke it.
That is the tough thing with zaps and sheets in general, right? Like not that it's easy to break, but there's like unexpected ways that you don't think about that it can break. Like if you're like, a lot of people are using this sheet, if someone gets a wild hair and is like, oh, I don't like the name of that tab, I want to name that something else. Like, doesn't that break a whole zap? Kind of hard. So you have to be so careful.
Yeah, that's why everybody only gets view access to these reports here, because yeah, it's really easy to break. I did find the trick too is deleting all your extra columns, because Google Sheets are actually calculated by individual cells. And you can have as many tabs as you want. You can have one tab, but once you actually hit a cell limit, I think it's some crazy like 1 million cells, that's when your Google Sheet will say it's broken. So if you have a tab like this where you're only using 2 columns, but it has like the standard 25 or whatever, and it's counting every single one of those cells, whether it's filled or not.
Wow.
So it's counting extra cells. It doesn't matter about the data that's in the cells. So that there is a limit, and we did hit that limit, and that's when I realized, okay, we actually do need to delete extra columns we're working with here. We go down here, we've got just like a nice daily breakdown, and everything's calculating off of everything else. So we just put the numbers in one spot, and then everything gets calculated. Usually it's right here, daily numbers by source. It's pulling in from the opt-in tabs, and then we pull everything in from here. So it's going to give us our opt-ins, going to give us a revenue total for the day. It's got a place to put in expenses if you do want to track your expenses. Maybe you do have daily ad spend from your Facebook people. You can put that in here. You can calculate your Facebook lead cost based on what you're calculating your Facebook leads were for the day. You can get total expenses. You get net totals for the day. People really like to ramp up their ad spend to equal how much money they're making on the front end. So this is really helpful for them to be like, oh, we've made 100,000 on the front end product. We've only spent 50,000 in ads. Let's go ahead and push another 50,000 because that front end product is just all about feeding our ads. This is a great way for them to see exactly where they're at so far and how much more they can push until you hit that main offer part. I can see here we had some traffic on this day, a couple of opt-ins, made some money, pretty good day. 470, pretty good day for a lemonade stand, that's for sure. Yeah, so that would be kind of the overview page. A lot of the other tabs just get pretty nerdy, what are our daily numbers by category? So opt-ins, how many Facebook opt-ins did we have this day? What was our total Facebook opt-ins for that day? What was our variance that, VIP buyers, or daily numbers by source? Organic, what was our total organic revenue on 3/1? And how many of those people purchased VIP or the OTO. And then at the end too, we do have this, if it ends up getting used, project, just a quick project profitability, whatever you're calling it, challenge, an event. You can just get your total revenue pretty quickly. You can get revenue adjustments. You want to take out refunds, any merchant fees. We all hate that 2.7 to 3.1%, whatever you're paying. It's the nasty cousin that we all have to deal with. So it does end up getting taken out because it can equal a lot of money. If you're making $200,000, 2.5% of that is $5,000. So it can really add up there. Expenses, what were your YouTube ad spend, Facebook ad spend, anything else you want, IT costs. Maybe you're using a texting platform that did cost $10,000 to send a bunch of text messages. Labor cost, maybe you brought in some other people, or that could be listed under outside services. Maybe you had a special videographer do your videos just for this. Maybe you had some extra labor as a contractor, outside service you put in here. If it was a physical event, any food and beverage, venue, lodging, travel, product, printing, reproduction, maybe you're doing wow boxes. Maybe you're doing fulfillment boxes, maybe mailers, event gifts, materials, maybe you've got prizes and all that stuff. We can even put that. Prizes. Then you can just get a quick total expenses and profitability. It's a real easy way. I mean, this isn't directly what you're integrating into QuickBooks for your accounting, but this is a real quick way that you could work through, with your top team after an event and after an after action review meeting. Being like, okay, these are actually numbers we could get pretty easily, even if it's not the exact number. We can probably get it best estimate. We can probably log into our texting platform and just see like, okay, how much did we spend during this time period, and put in a number here that's pretty close. Yep, after event meetings are a must. They've been so great. I love them. Yep, refunds. And usually it's also about those duplicates too. So this is pulling in gross numbers, and I built this entire thing around gross. There's nowhere in here to actually put refunds, because the point of this was all about the gross. Refunds, that's like an after event review of how well you performed. This isn't in the moment. What are we looking at?
And trying to plug refunds into all the existing calculations sounds like a really good way to make your ZAP and stuff. Also, let's just deal with that separately.
Yeah. Sweet. Well, any other questions around this so far?
When someone asks for this, and you have to, hand it over, how long is your training typically with them to make sure that they understand all the cool stuff you put together?
Well, usually so far, the only people I've been doing this for have seen it. And so they've seen it evolve, but really it was just, I just give like a 10-minute video, and, I just let them know. I color code it. I'm like, hey, all these blue cells, these are going to updates live. These yellow cells, somebody's going to come in here and update. The green ones, these are just total revenue breakdowns, whatever you want to call it. So that makes it easier to see. They can really look at it and be like, okay, I know these blue ones. This is information within the last 5-10 minutes. But I will actually send a video. I haven't done one this detailed in a while. They've been on the simpler version, which basically ignores these 3 tabs right here. And
that
just
answers Jamie's question. Jamie noticed that theirs is like a little bit more condensed, so she was just asking, what about those other tabs? Are those hidden from us? Or
I wanted those. I was so funny that this is the training call. I haven't been in here in a long time, but I want to know those hourly stats, because we were trying to figure out like when the cart moves. Like, I know we didn't use this for our live event, but we wanted to know, like, does the cart move when so-and-so speaks, like, in that hourly tab would have really helped us like pinpoint that.
Yeah, that's what it's about. I mean, I can start using this version. It's a little bit longer to set up.
Yeah.
But,
I'm just looking, it's all the questions that I was gonna like attack you with one of these days, but I haven't done it yet. So perfect timing.
yeah. You do end up getting in a position where you might have full pays versus payment plans. And some people like to be reported on total sales and cash collected, because those can be two very different numbers. If you have a $12,000 12 pay, your cash collected is going to be here, but your total sales could be up here. If you're only getting a 1/12 of it on all those 12 pays. So that is a different variable that would get added in somewhere that makes sense.
Now, Taryn, I only saw like 4 zaps. Like, surely that's it. Like, how many zaps does it take?
That's because of the new paths feature.
Okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, I need to utilize paths feature. I have not, I'm still fairly new to Zapier, just learning all the cool stuff that it can do. So like I think I have 2 different zaps right now going that are like this zap to this, and then I made a new zap that was like this one to this one.
So I have this step. If they get any of these tags, it's going to trigger this action. And then instead of writing the same zap 5 different times, then I just have 5 different filter paths. So this one is going to say, okay, but which path, which tag did it find? Was it the organic one? If it was, then it goes down this path. If not, then it goes down a different path. So yes, back in the day before paths, that would probably be 15 different zaps set up and running. Yes, Jamie.
So how much is too much on the dashboard? Like for the most recent one we didn't add like our live event sales like tracking on there. And I feel like it would have been really helpful to like have it all in one space, but is that like too much for one like dashboard? Make more sense to
Yeah, there is, I like to split it out pretty specifically, but then you do have afterwards, you can run reports where it takes you from, okay, these are, like we had a challenge and then we had a gap and then we had a live event, but this live event was mainly filled from the challenge.
Right.
So then you can run little combo reports together, but I would personally want to split those 2 things up.
Okay.
If it came to a report like this.
Yeah. The live event, we don't do as much like tracking as far as like, the source and stuff, but like the more like moving cart and like when people bought and like that kind of tracking.
Yeah, it would be easy to add it in just as a different product, and then it could still find people's original source. It could let you know if they were organic, Facebook, or affiliate.
Yeah.
It might not be able to. It could get a little just cluttery building it into everything, but it could work to just because you have all the data here, just finding the formulas to find people.
Okay.
Yeah, that could work. Yes, I did get a little bit of help in some of these formulas, so I'm not going to take credit on all of them. And it is really easy once you figure one out to just to duplicate. So it's a lot of formulas, but really I only had to figure out this one, and then I could use it everywhere.
That one always takes a lot of work though.
Can take a lot of work. There's a lot of support groups out there online though. Any other questions, opinions about this ways you could see it being utilized? I like to hear different opinions on how it can be changed, like ways you can see it differently.
What do you think? Sorry. what do you think like the threshold is on this? Like as far as like big of sales, what would be the starting point that someone would probably ask for this? Because like, you know, we have like our little side businesses and stuff, like side hustles, and like we're running ads. Would you say is like as soon as you're running ads, this would be a helpful thing to use, or only if you're doing a certain volume?
I think to line up with the cost to build one of these things, you know, you do probably want to expect a reasonable output. You know, if this is your first challenge and you're just expecting 100 people and a couple $1,000s, it might not be worth the setup for something like this. So that is a good question. I do think you do have to be set up in such a way to where you do have CRMs, landing pages, everything you needed that can set things up to start tracking sources, to making sales automatically. So, and then maybe, yeah, you are finally running ads and it makes more sense. Otherwise, you might not really care where things are coming from. You're just trying to get things outside of ads, organic traffic or whatnot.
Yeah, something that you might not think about is that aside from all the expenses that are listed on that final tab, just setting this up, you need to have probably premium Zapier access, like you said, like a CRM, a Terran if you don't want to figure it out yourself. So there is that like initial cost just to get the thing recording what you're doing.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. You do need the upgraded Zap account. Yeah.
I like how you say a Terran, like there's more than one. That was funny. And I feel like a form of this, maybe like a more simplified form, could be used in a challenge to track, like if you have setters and closers, if you have like a team texting leads, and just to track like the hours that people were most active, what products they sort of gravitated to during the challenge, because sometimes they don't go for the big ticket, but maybe we did a lot of downsells, or maybe a lot of people were wanting to join the VIP because of the challenge and things like that. So just like there's so many things that the sales team does, whether they're SMS or like on calls, setters and closers, or we have the application review team that reviews applications. Really, there's sales calls too. And there's just like so many different variables and different paths, and it's really difficult to track that. But if you have, I would think if you had proper tagging in place on lead cards, like in Go High Level or somewhere like that, then you could pull that data and then be able to see like a really good, and maybe you find out like, hey, our Facebook bot killed it. You know, like why are we paying so much to have like live humans do this when, you know, level 9 or Facebook bots are doing great and things like that. So I think this data could help sales teams even grow during live challenge events. FYI, Go High Level does not work in high velocity challenge events. In case anyone didn't know that, I just want to throw that out there because we learned the hard way that it just doesn't, it cannot hold the volume, not right now. So, but thank you, Taryn. This is amazing. Definitely like got my wheels spinning. So I'm not expecting to sleep tonight. Thank you.
Oh gosh, don't blame that on me. Yeah, that's great to hear. What part of Go High Level broke for you when it gets high traffic?
Yeah, numbers keep me up a lot. The texting. So we have a team that will do manual texting, and then there are automations that go through, and it kind of just works seamlessly. Ideally, in our evergreen challenge, it works fine. So we thought, okay, we'll just funnel live challenge leads through our same pipeline, right? No, they were not getting their automated texts that were supposed to go out like, hey, the challenge is starting at 9 a.m. They would get those at like 8:50 p.m. the next day, or like 2 days later, or an hour later, or 2 hours later. And it was so inconsistent. It was crazy. And it made us look like goofballs.
That texting thing is tough because like you don't know how long it's going to take whatever third party thing to get it out. And each one I think is a little bit different. And then of course the volume, like that's the group texting is a tough one to get right. And then people get so grumpy when it's wrong.
Whoa, yeah. And you can't take it back. Like once once you fire that thing off, it's going.
Yeah, texting. I feel like we could do a whole episode on texting. The texting has really changed, especially since the beginning of the pandemic. That's about when things started changing. Short codes hardly exist. It costs a lot of money to get a dedicated short code. You could lose it really quickly. There's a lot of spam laws around texting, because people have realized that we're not reading our emails anymore. I mean, I'll go into a meeting, and anytime I see anybody accidentally show their email inbox, it's like 5,000 unread emails. It's like, well, that's why marketing emails aren't working.
Good. Mine's only at 1,640 something right now.
See, there we go.
Oh.
2 hours on a Saturday to getting my 10K emails down to 0. And now I'm like super protective of my inbox, and it's real easy to get past 200. So I'm training EAs next week to manage my email inbox, because for some reason that just really bugs me. That little notification bubble.
So much. I'm about to just turn it off where it doesn't even tell me, because it gives me so much anxiety to see the number, and I'm like, how did I let this go so bad? Oh.
Yep. And so that's why people started texting. And I don't know if you've been getting a lot more texts on your phone, like I have, from companies. People text me about everything. Text me when my water bill's paid. I'm like, still trying to figure out how to turn that one off. Quit texting me about my water bill. It's on auto pay. I know. I set it up. Just charge me.
Sure mine, because I'm in Wyoming in the middle of nowhere. So like, because I get it too, and there's no way to turn it off. I'm pretty sure it's just like a dude like in the basement of their facility who's just like, your bill's been paid. Like, you can't turn it off because it's just a dude that has your phone number.
Oh, I like to picture that. You think Travis would like that job? Here's your list of people to text.
He'd hate it, but he would do it. He would do it well.
Oh, yeah. So who knows? Maybe we can briefly touch up. I'm not a texting expert, but I've been around setting up texting platforms long enough. So yeah, there's a lot of use cases for this. It's pretty exciting. I just love it. It creates, a database in a place that's easy. You can easily plug in visual graphs to this. I'm not a visual graph person, so I'm really bad at those charts and everything in Google Sheets. But if somebody loved charts and graphs, they could easily grab the right columns and set this up for somebody so they could have a nice pretty view. Because some of the people I work with, they like to see numbers in this way. Some people just like to see images and see things climb mountains, and they know if it's not climbing a mountain, it's not working. So yeah. Why wouldn't this work long term? It could work long term, but the thing you find out with long term things is you're always tweaking them and optimizing them. So it could work in a way, like it could give you totals, like you guys are doing an evergreen challenge. We could set up something like this to give totals, but it's not going to be able to tweak every time you tweak. It's not going to be able to say, okay, after you made this change, these are now the totals. You'd have to kind of dig into that data yourself. You do lose a lot of the date features. It could go off into eternity. I mean, once you have the formula, you just drag it down. You could do that still. So it could be long-term if you are doing something long-term. Yeah, I don't want to tell you it's not. It's just one of those things where if things change too much and you find yourself having to update 15 different zaps in every single formula because somebody decided to change the name of a product.
And if you want to look at something like
he's laughing because it happens.
I did it to myself with a zap last week that it took me a minute to like even realize that it was off, and it was because I decided I didn't like the way that I had labeled something. Like I had come up with a new like naming convention for the files that I was doing in my Google Drive, and then by doing that I messed it. I think I actually turned off like 3 zaps that way. It was really fun. It was a fun day. I learned stuff.
Yeah. It's a tough one. I've done it to myself, done it to other people have done it to me.
What's
I
the
don't know what
craggle?
I don't know, but it sounds like a bagel.
No, okay.
Bagel, croissant
But
bagel.
you guys don't have children of the age of 10 that are male. So this is from the Lego movie, the crazy glue. It got all crumpled up, so they called it the crackle. But basically, like, you're a loser if you crazy glue your Legos together because then they can never be played with again.
There we
And
go.
so, not that you're a loser, the sheet is awesome. But yeah, definitely. This is like the crackle version of metric reporting. It
Is that what
cannot
they call
be.
the dad? Don't they call the dad that because he glues it all together and he doesn't let the little boy play with them or something?
Yeah, I don't know what they call the dad. I'm sorry. I very rarely finish a movie, but I did catch that part.
I don't have 10-year-old children, but my entertainment level is about that level. So I usually go and see those movies in theaters.
Yeah. I can't sit still long enough to watch one movie to its entirety, but I did catch the crackle part. And that's what this reminds me of. Like, it's great, but it's kind of fixed.
It is. It is. You could upgrade to places like Google Data Studio, which are doing very similar things the same way. You're building databases that has to get the information from somewhere. Anywhere you get into database reporting, it's not going to be able to reach directly into your CRM and just start going, what is this? Let's interpret that. It's going to build some sort of database somewhere. So I've seen this problem come across with a lot of people is you have to get the information centralized to be able to send to any type of functional reporting system that's going to grab data from lots of different points. So people do build their own databases. They reach that point where they do have databases being built for them. And then you can plug into Google Data Studio, you can plug into different reporting tools that do make it look more like a legit website, which is pretty cool. But I love my little dashboard reporting sheet. And don't you, I don't care. I don't care if it's craggled.
No, this is great. And it would be awesome to like embed into your Monday dashboard. Like if you have a Monday dashboard where you've got your charts and your graphs, you can also have this sheet in there where it's like, okay, for the nerds, you go to this tab. For the visual, the visionary that wants to just see the charts and the mountains and the paths and all that. But yeah, I love it. I do.
All right. Do we have any
I was going to ask one more question. Like, how much lead time do you need to build something like this, like before something starts? Like, what's ideal?
Well, how do I say this?
Amy doesn't get a lot of lead time.
I know. Well, I know usually we ask you like the day before and we're like, wait, we need a dashboard. And you make something miraculous happen for us. But like ideally, like if we were gonna like, I love all the like things that you have at the bottom, which we don't have, but like what would be ideal?
Yeah, I like to get a week out of something.
Okay.
Just so I can try to get everything in there correctly and tested.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if not, I have to use live data as testing. And then if it doesn't work, then you have to fix it.
Right. And that would assume that you like know all the things about the challenge at least a week ahead of time, like the products and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in your situation, I would say as soon as you know, you can tell me.
Yeah, which is usually like the day before or in the middle of it. But okay. All right. I mean, if we want like to go in the direction of getting better data, it's like you have to give yourself more lead time in order to get that, basically.
It's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Kimberly has a really good question about implementing this.
I mean, anybody can implement it to a degree utilizing the information I gave. I don't know. I mean, I probably have to talk to Aaron about this. This is some like a entire method I created, and it's pretty popular and people love it. So it's almost like I don't want to give too many secrets away.
Collab secret juice.
Yeah. But at the same time, it's, I've already been offered many opportunities, so you're gonna have to take me down to Mexico as well and put me on a boat. And offer me a job. Yeah, could be training available in Shopify in the future. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I could probably just give the template away and let you deal with it. But
a 3-day masterclass that everybody has to pay $27 to join. And then for $97 upsell, they can ask you particular questions about said sheet after the main session.
nice. Yeah, and I'll report on that on the report.
Yeah. And yeah. And that all that could be used as bonus content for, yeah.
You just created
sure.
a challenge and a value ladder all in 5 seconds. It's amazing.
But yes, for those of you on this call, you do have access to me, so you can keep utilizing that to get these built for you.
I'm not going to stop until they tell me to. So
Right.
until they slap my hands.
And even then, slapping hands isn't like a hard no.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Slapping hands is like, please don't. We'd rather you didn't.
I'm in the camp of ask for forgiveness instead of permission right now.
It's the only way to be in business.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I have to if you don't have any lead time.
Basically. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right. Yeah, we got 10 more minutes here. We can keep chatting about some reporting stuff. Any other use cases people like, or you have a question?
I was going to ask, how hard is it to create like pie charts and stuff from it? Like you kind of touched on that like you can do that, but is it just as far as like you could just add another tab and then tell it what you want to?
Well, for me, it's a little more difficult because I just don't like them, but we can do it together. Let's see, where do we insert chart? So it would be easy to do some sort of, not a combo, of a pie, and we could get data from, where do we go? We can get different lead sources. Okay, I think I'm doing this right. And then we can get labels. Right, okay. So if we just put some numbers in here, we have a pie chart that says I got, see, but this is where I mess up. Now I don't even know what I want to be looking at. I want to be looking at source or date.
I think we're like, oh. Interesting.
Yeah, so this is the same lucid chart dilemma I get faced with. Anything that just takes me too long, I get frustrated with.
You're not a charts guy. You're the numbers formulas guy.
I'm not a visual. But yeah, so everything's there. You could list this out. You could look at daily numbers by source, and you could get totals. You could probably, I would imagine, an opt-ins by lead source. This would be your data tab, and then it could just be the totals on bottom. And so you could just have a little chart showing little, and then you could have a revenue chart, and then you could have a revenue ad spend chart where it's giving you one of those little, one of these charts where it's like filled in, or a stacked column chart like those. Yeah.
You should send me the link to your practice one here so then I can try and take it upon myself to be the Collab visuals person and then create a tab that has all of the charts, and then it can be fun because there's always going to be the visionaries that doesn't want to look at all the nitty gritty. They just are going to want to look at those charts. So then I feel like that would be a good.
Okay.
I like that.
I can do that. Yeah, because I'm sure if you just get it in there once, it's going to read off of this. And
Yeah, so the graphs are really just digging into like analytics at a different level, right? Like what you're comparing to what and looking at it in a different way.
That last tab all the way to the right, that would be a great one to have it. Yeah, project profitability. That would be a great one to have a chart on where you could have like, say like your itemized expenses, you could have those in like different gradients of blue and then or red, and then your revenues in different gradients of green. So you still have like a blue, green versus red. But then it's also like we spent this chunk in ads, but holy smokes, we did this many giveaways. Like, could we have a good challenge without giving away the house, you know?
Aaron gave away a trip to Belize in one of his challenges, which I did not win, which I was very sad. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be allowed to win since I work for him, but I was still hoping.
We kind of joke with Steven because like someone's computer breaks. He's like, I can look in the closet. There's like the closet with like the prize. It's like, really?
is that their
I was
Amazon
saving this to
returns
sell
code?
on a Facebook Marketplace loom, but what a good guy.
Oh yeah. Love it. Yeah, Savannah, that'd be cool. We took a stab at that. Yeah.
I just thought of another, like, I mean, you guys have something like this already, and this is kind of where my wheels were going when you first showed the spreadsheet. But you said this is more of a short term. But like when you bring someone on, say, like I'm hiring people for my personal company right now, the businesses that I own, and I'm doing just a 1 month trial with these people because they're overseas help and there's like a lot of stuff. And so this would be great for tracking 1 month trial stuff with new hires, like their capacity, their hours, their like what they've billed for versus like what they say they have available, because these people are on a monthly retainer. So it's like, I was just looking at one of them. She's only got like 6 hours for the week, but she's supposed to be a 40-hour a week gal. So obviously a way simpler version, but I could see it like plug it into capacity, hours available versus hours used kind of thing when you're looking at the onboarding and kind of the first month trial of a new hire.
I like that. Yeah, it is nice. Once you have something like this, you can just think of different possibilities and utilize the same tools, formulas, visuals, so many different ways. I do like that. Where'd my chat go? Savannah, I lost my chat bar again. There it is.
Oh no. Okay.
Okay, nothing new came.
Nothing new. We're all being verbal right now, so it's all
Good. Good. All right, well, no other questions or thoughts before we disembark for the week?
This is great. I love this product. It's one of my favorites. It was great to see kind of behind the scenes on all the things that we don't really get to see.
Yeah, it's
so
fun to have you on for this one. Yeah.
Yeah, my life is getting back to normal, so can get back into a routine.
Cool. Well, next week we're doing Ben. Ben will be up here hosting.
Yay.
Probably in a hat.
In a hat? Okay. Well, I gotta be here for that.
Yeah. Well, no, the hat will be on him. He won't be in a hat. He'll be under the hat.
Good clarification.
Yeah.
I really hope that he figures out, because he loves those Zoom filters. So I hope he figures out like some kind of filter that has like a hat at the bottom, so he could be like, hello.
I'll definitely be here for that.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be talking about some fun stuff.
Okay.
As always. We're doing a little bit different reporting. affiliate reporting, payments,
Ooh,
payouts,
okay. Yeah.
1099s, end of year reconciliation, all the fun stuff people don't realize they need to get behind when somebody mentions the idea of, oh, let's have affiliates.
Right. All right. I'm here
So,
for that. Cool.
yeah, we've got lots of tips. We've done affiliates on different platforms, different partners, different types, long-term, short-term for launches, long-term for customers, been affiliates for, you know, Dean and Tony Graziosi, current affiliates for them with a different client now. So we've seen back sides and front sides of lots of different things. So it'll be a fun topic. Ben's gonna have fun delivering it, I know, because it's thrilling. Yeah. All right, well, that's about it then.